Hi there, my fellow Mainers and my fellow Greens. My name is Platts. I ran for state senate here in Portland in 2012 and in 2014. We've heard a lot of talk tonight from both the Democrats and Republicans about what they're going to do to bring jobs to our state, increase prosperity, reduce taxes, and generally improve the condition of working class people here in Maine. But let's look at their past actions and find out where they actually stand. In 2005, the Democratic Party was in majority control and was taking the state of Maine in the wrong direction, favoring large businesses over workers, jobs, health, and the environment. The Maine Democrats blocked an effort by Greens, Independents, and Progressives to enact a single-payer healthcare system here in Maine, which would have given all Mainers access to a quality medical care for free, and instead they gave us the privately run, privately administered Dirigo healthcare program. This burdened taxpayers with the profits of a private health insurance company, making the program destined to fail from the outset, thus stunting any hope for achieving single-payer healthcare here in the state of Maine. Because of this burden of profit, currently health insurance acts as a barrier to care rather than as a gateway to care. While Democrats and Republicans both feel that we should be keeping the private health insurance industry involved in our health insurance, the Green Party supports public policy that's based in facts. It's clear from the numbers that a single-payer healthcare system provides better coverage to more people for less money. It's also a clear moral imperative to provide access to healthcare to all Mainers, regardless of income. For that reason, the Maine Greens support a universal, comprehensive, single-payer healthcare system that gives all Mainers access to the quality care that they need. Single-payer will not cost us money. It will save us money. Back when the Maine Greens were working in coalition with Independents and Progressive Democrats, a study was performed by an impartial accounting firm that showed that after an initial investment, we would save money over our current health insurance system, insuring all people after a period of just 5 years. Single-payer healthcare will free businesses from the burden of having to pay insurance for their workers. This will be a huge benefit to many small businesses who currently can't afford to pay the insurance of their workers. But this also frees workers to seek fulfilling employment rather than being tied to a job for health insurance. And without the burden of profit, advertising, and large CEO bonuses encountered in the private health insurance market, more money paid into the system goes to actual care, meaning that we get better quality coverage for less money. While Paul LePage likes to pretend that he's just a regular working-class Mainer, his proposed tax policies hit mostly low-income and working-class people, all to pay for tax breaks to his rich friends. But this isn't a new policy, nor is it unique to the Republican Party. In 2009, Maine Democrats voted nearly unanimously for a bill that would have reduced taxes on those in our top tax bracket, while raising taxes on low-income and working-class families. It would seem that when in control of the state government, both Democrats and Republicans alike are interested in forcing low-income and working-class people to shoulder additional tax burdens to pay for giveaways to their wealthy friends and campaign donors. The Democrats have recently become interested again in tax fairness, but their tax plan does nothing to significantly alter our unfair tax bracketing structure. Their plan only tinkers around the margins of our 3 income tax brackets. The Maine Greens, through our candidates for state legislature like myself, have been calling for a complete overhaul of our tax law that would restructure our tax brackets and create a truly progressive income tax system. The Greens are also committed to improving the condition of low-income and working-class people, and we would use any increased revenue to fund much-needed social programs and economic development, rather than giving that money away to our wealthy friends. When under the budgetary control of the Democrats, the UMaine Fund was used as a rainy day fund, resulting in department consolidations and faculty cuts. Today, under shared leadership with the Republicans and Democrats, there is an effort to outright privatize the UMaine system, putting access to high-quality post-secondary education out of the reach of thousands of Mainers. Under either Democratic or Republican administrations, accessing post-secondary education still means accruing vast amounts of debt that may never be paid off in your lifetime. The Green Party of the United States is very clear in its platform about what sort of education Americans deserve. The Green Party views education as a lifelong process to which all people should have access. The Maine Greens call for the creation of a permanent fund that can provide high-quality post-secondary education to all Mainers at the point of service at no cost to the student. College education should be free for those willing to better themselves. College education is not just a benefit to individual students either, but an investment in our society. The Maine Greens believe in community-based economics, and rather than waiting on bended knee, as both Democrats and Republicans do, waiting for out-of-state industry to come here, the Maine Greens would like to see all Mainers, through their education, be the ones to create those industries here in Maine. We would like Mainers, through the empowerment of education, to be the ones to invent new technologies, to provide high-skilled vital services. We want Mainers to be the ones, through their education, to have the big ideas that will move Maine forward into the next century. We must act now to empower the next generation of Mainers with the tools to take on the challenges of the future. Both Democrats and Republicans claim to be the party of working-class people, but if we look at the facts, this is simply not the case. As much as LePage likes to think that he is just a regular working-class Mainer, the LePage administration has severely exacerbated the condition of the working-class Mainer. Where before unions were in decline due to barriers to organizing, unionized labor is now under attack by both the private sector and the government alike. Under Democrats, the social safety nets were weakened in order to offset the cost of tax breaks to corporations. Now, the social safety net is being cut to the point of ceasing to function. Paul LePage has been actively cutting our social safety net, or increasing barriers to access. Many of his methods have been found to either be extra-legal or unconstitutional. To defend his rogue actions, Paul LePage has requested $2 million of taxpayer money be set aside for his own private legal fund, as a part of his effort to deny working-class people access to the vital social services that could mean the difference between getting back on your feet or living out on the street. The Green Party would rather those $2 million go to actually paying for the vital social services that will help keep Mainers in their homes and fed during this economic downturn and this very harsh winter, rather than wasting them on the defense of illegal pursuits of cuts in these very same services. People are struggling to pay their bills. Cuts to vital services like Medicare, food stamps, and general assistance are threats on the lives of working-class Mainers who wake up every day on the wrong side of capitalism. These policies of austerity are not only bad for the economy, they are also violations of basic human rights enshrined in the UN Charter. Recently, the LePage administration has declined a federal waiver that reinstates a Democratic Party policy started under Bill Clinton called workfare, which forces those applying for food stamps to either currently have employment or to work for free. By denying assistance to the unemployed, this backwards policy denies working-class Mainers when they need it most. But it's not just bad for the individuals who are denied assistance. Forcing welfare recipients to accept jobs that pay wages below a living wage drives down wages for those who have good-paying jobs, and it also exploits workers for private profit at public expense. The Green Party rejects workfare as being a form of indentured servitude and as a form of corporate welfare. While the Democratic Party may be against cutting social services, they are still the party of the ruling class, and their policies to address poverty can be described at best as being anemic. If the minimum wage had kept pace with worker productivity and the rising cost of living, today it would be $22 an hour. The Maine Greens believe that nobody who works should have to live in poverty. It is for this reason that the Maine Greens support lifting Maine out of poverty by raising the wage floor across the entire state of Maine with a universal, enforceable minimum wage of $15 an hour. For those unable to work because of the failures of the free market to provide jobs or living wages, every day is an insurmountable struggle. The Green Party does not believe that poverty should be part of a civilized society. For this reason, the Green Party supports a basic income guarantee that would eliminate poverty in one fell swoop by ensuring all Mainers have access to a regular monthly paycheck equal to 150% of the poverty level, thus stimulating the economy by putting purchasing power back into the hands of those who are currently unable to participate in our economy. Maine, along with the rest of the world, faces the twin challenges of climate change and economic collapse. Both of these problems share a common solution, which is a Green New Deal jobs program that would put Mainers back to work, building the infrastructure that we need to face the challenges of climate change. Renewable energy infrastructure that eliminates our dependence on fossil fuels and makes our wars for oil obsolete. Active transportation such as bike and pedestrian highways that link our various urban centers. Public transportation that makes the ownership of a car less necessary. For the full text of the Green New Deal, please go to mainegreens.org/GND. The Maine Greens are a fiscally responsible political party. We can drastically reduce spending on our prison system by decriminalizing all drugs and legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Doing so would also legalize marijuana's industrial cousin, hemp, which could put farmers back to work producing industrial fiber. Portugal decriminalized all drugs in 2001, and since then have seen drug use plummet, as plummeting prices created a marketplace in which it was no longer economically feasible to traffic in formerly illicit substances. If our goals are to decrease the use of drugs, increase public health and safety, and reduce spending, it's time that we end the failed drug war and treat drug addiction as the medical issue that it is, instead of treating it like a crime. While people face steep prison sentences for transporting drugs across state lines, far more dangerous substances are allowed to be trafficked legally and freely by the oil industry. The governor is in the process of creating an east-west highway, which will be privately run and used by large corporations to export our forests to Canada, where labor costs are lower because of their single-payer healthcare system. But it will also be used to transport tar sands from Canada through Maine for export to the rest of the world, hauled in large tanks on the back of trucks. Maine would not see any benefit from the transport of tar sands, but would instead be put at considerable economic and health risk. Maine Greens are opposed to the Keystone XL pipeline and any pipeline carrying tar sands through Maine. But the Loch Megantic explosion is just one example of what can happen when tar sands are transported by other methods, such as truck or rail. Tar sands are a dangerous pollutant that, if spilled, are nearly impossible to clean up, and will devastate our waterways and our soil, slowly killing Mainers and our wildlife with carcinogens. When burned, tar sands push our climate closer to the brink of no return. If that's not enough, when involved with accidents like the Loch Megantic explosion, tar sands can also be devastating to our physical well-being in a much more immediate sense. It's for all of these reasons that the Maine Greens call for a ban on the transportation of tar sands through the state of Maine. Instead of deadly tar sands and costly foreign oil wars, we should focus on reducing toxic greenhouse gases by investing in energy efficiency upgrades to our antiquated housing stock, which promotes a better return on our investment. We can put forth a bond to create a revolving loan fund that will assist Maine homeowners in making energy-efficient upgrades to their homes that will help them significantly cut their heating costs, while at the same time allow us to do our part to reduce the effects of man-made climate change right here at home. The Maine Republican Party, under the leadership of LePage, has continued to take Maine's government in that same wrong direction that the Democrats were taking us in, favoring corporations and the wealthy over working people, health, jobs, and the environment. Mainers were correct in assessing that the Democratic Party, due to its ties with large corporations and the economic elite, was not a vehicle for enacting policy that benefits the public good. Mainers, by and large, chose to stay home that election day in 2010, and with the lowest voter turnout since World War II, elected Paul LePage. The low turnout on the left was mistaken by many in the media as being a shift to the right wing, rather than being an abandonment of the Democratic Party in search of an alternative that works for the millions, not the millionaires. The Maine Green Independent Party is such a choice. We are a new party, only 30 years old, free from the stranglehold of entrenched interests, with a strong commitment to issues that affect poor and working people, because our membership and our leadership is made up of poor and working class people, just like the people watching this video at home right now. We pursue policies that benefit people like you because we are people like you. The Maine Green Independent Party is no longer going to sit on the sidelines and let both Democrats and Republicans diminish the quality of life or economic opportunity for Mainers. We plan to run a candidate for governor to challenge both of these parties, which have both proven that they are only concerned with representing the interests of the wealthy. We need your help, though. If we don't join together to challenge the failed policies of both Democrats and Republicans, we will continue to get the same results. Join us now in building a sustainable movement to take back our government. Contact us at the phone number or email listed at the bottom of the screen for more information on how you can get involved with the Maine Green Independent Party in your town. Or go to mainegreens.org. Thank you.